Life adapts to its environment in countless ways. For some organisms, survival depends on simplicity. A bacterium thrives without awareness, guided only by chemical gradients. A jellyfish drifts and feeds, succeeding through reflex alone. In their niches, consciousness is unnecessary. Success means persistence, reproduction, and stability. But as environments grow more complex, new challenges arise. More sensory inputs open new opportunities, richer food sources, safer shelters, subtler threats. Yet with complexity comes the burden of choice. Organisms must prioritize signals, weigh risks, and anticipate outcomes. In these niches, simple reflexes are no longer enough. Here, predictive modeling becomes the decisive advantage. The ability to simulate futures before acting allows organisms to conserve energy, avoid danger, and exploit opportunities. Consciousness emerges as the integrated system that unites sensation, prioritization, and foresight. This is why consciousness is not universal. It is not required for every niche, nor is it the pinnacle of evolution. It is one solution among many, a strategy for survival where environments demand flexible prediction and adaptive action. In some worlds, reflex is enough. In others, imagination becomes the key to success. Consciousness, then, is not a mystery gift bestowed on life. It is a niche adaptation, born from the pressures of complexity, a survival tool where foresight makes the difference between extinction and expansion. So what does that mean for existential existence of humans' reflection? Why can we ask for the meaning of our life? Let's unpack the utility of this dynamic. The way compression, reducing external stimuli, activity, or options, and existentialism, facing the raw fact of existence, can function like boredom, forcing introspection and meaning-making. Utility of compression and existentialism. Cognitive compression as a trigger. When external inputs are reduced, no tasks, no distractions, the mind is compressed into a quieter state. This resembles boredom. The absence of stimulation creates a pressure to generate internal content. Utility. It forces the brain to reorganize priorities, explore latent questions, and simulate possibilities that are usually drowned out by noise. 2. Existential confrontation. Existentialism emphasizes the confrontation with being itself, the awareness that existence precedes essence. Utility. This confrontation destabilizes default routines and compels individuals to construct meaning actively rather than passively inheriting it. Like boredom, it creates a vacuum that demands filling, but here, the filling is with values, commitments, and identity. 3. Boredom as evolutionary mechanism. Boredom is not just discomfort. It's a signal that current activity lacks adaptive value. Utility. It pushes organisms and humans especially to seek novelty, growth, or deeper engagement. In existential terms, boredom can catalyze self-reflection, leading to discovery of purpose or redirection of life energy. 4. Compression, introspection, application. Compression. Reduce external stimuli. Introspection. Mind turns inward, confronting existence. Application. Insights are externalized into meaning, projects, or commitments. Utility. This cycle ensures that existential confrontation doesn't remain abstract. It becomes operational, shaping behavior and identity. Analogy. Think of compression existentialism as the friction zone in evolution. Just as sensory overload forced organisms to develop prioritization and predictive modeling, existential underload, boredom, emptiness, forces humans to develop meaning-making systems. Both are adaptive responses to thresholds, one to too much input, the other to too little. Takeaway. Compression and existentialism function like boredom because they engineer a vacuum. That vacuum is useful. It drives introspection, forces meaning construction, and ultimately applies existence in new, creative, or ethical directions. To embrace this view is to recognize its clarity. Consciousness is not a mystical essence, but a practical adaptation, arising where prediction and foresight are necessary for survival. It explains why bacteria thrive without awareness, and why humans, in their layered environments, require imagination and reflection. It holds coherence. The same evolutionary logic that gave rise to predictive modeling in complex niches also illuminates why humans wrestle with meaning. Compression and existential confrontation are not anomalies. They are extensions of the same adaptive principle, vacuums that demand creative filling. Its scope is wide. It accounts for organisms across the spectrum of life, from reflex-driven jellyfish to reflective humans, showing how consciousness and boredom alike are niche-specific tools. It bridges biology, philosophy, and psychology under one explanatory arc. Its depth lies in revealing the hidden utility of discomfort. Boredom, emptiness, and existential confrontation are not flaws in the human condition, but mechanisms that force introspection, reorganization, and meaning-making. They are the friction zones that catalyze growth. Its simplicity is elegant. Survival requires strategies. Reflex suffices in simple worlds. Foresight and imagination are required in complex ones. Existential compression is simply another threshold, one that demands humans author their own meaning. And its fruitfulness is profound. This view not only explains why consciousness exists, but also why humans can ask about the meaning of life. It offers a practical framework for living to see boredom, emptiness, and existential confrontation not as threats but as adaptive triggers for creativity, ethics, and identity. Consciousness is not a crown but a tool. Existential compression is not despair but opportunity. Together they remind us that meaning is not found but forged. In short, an adaptive trigger for self-authorship.